Welcome back to Continuous Improvement, the podcast where we explore different aspects of software development and learn how we can enhance our skills and approaches. I'm your host, Victor, and in today's episode, we'll be diving into a common design paradigm in software development, imperative and declarative programming. But before we get into that, I wanted to remind all our listeners to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback and support help us continue bringing you valuable content. Alright, let's jump right into it. Background music fades in. When building applications, you've probably come across terms like imperative and declarative programming. But do you know what they really mean? In today's discussion, we'll explore the differences between imperative and declarative APIs and how they impact our software development practices. Let's start with imperative programming. At its core, imperative programming is all about the how. It focuses on detailing the steps needed to achieve a result. When an API is designed imperatively, it requires the user to specify how a certain task should be done. Imperative APIs often involve step-by-step instructions, where the developer has to manage the state and consider the order of operations. This approach gives granular control over the logic and offers flexibility. However, it can also be verbose and require manual state management, which adds cognitive load to the developer. To help us understand better, let's consider an example. Imagine a painting application where the API is imperative. We would have code like this. Pause for effect. Brush.select size 5, brush.pick color red, canvas.draw start at 10, 10, and canvas.draw line to 20, 20. Each step is explicitly defined, giving the developer fine-grained control over the painting process. Now, let's move on to declarative programming. While imperative programming focuses on the how, declarative programming is more about the what. It describes the desired outcome without detailing the steps to achieve it. When an API is designed declaratively, it takes a description of the desired result and figures out the necessary steps. In contrast to imperative APIs, declarative APIs are outcome-oriented. The developer expresses the desired end state, and the system handles the state management and order of operations. This higher-level abstraction often leads to more concise code. However, it can also hide complexities and be less flexible compared to imperative programming. To continue with our painting application example, a declarative API might look something like this. Pause for effect. Canvas.draw shape, line, color, red, start, 10, 10, end, 20, 20, size, 5. Here, we provide a description of the desired line to be drawn on the canvas, without specifying the exact steps to achieve it. Now, let's discuss the strengths and weaknesses of these two approaches. When it comes to imperative APIs, their strengths lie in fine-grained control, potentially greater efficiency for specific tasks, and explicitness in code. However, they can be verbose, require manual state management, and impose a higher cognitive load on developers. On the other hand, declarative APIs excel in their conciseness, automatic state management, and improved code readability and maintainability. However, they might hide complexities, be less flexible, and can make debugging a bit more challenging due to higher levels of abstraction. So, how do we decide when to use imperative or declarative programming in our APIs? When you need complete control over the sequence of operations, or when performance optimizations necessitate a specific order of operations, imperative programming might be a better fit. On the other hand, when you want to simplify code, improve readability, or when the process is standardized enough that you don't need to control every step, declarative programming can be the way to go. Ultimately, the choice between imperative and declarative approaches in API design depends on your specific use case, the audience of the API, and the nature of the tasks it encompasses. Balancing simplicity with control will help ensure your API meets its intended purpose effectively. Background music fades in. And that brings us to the end of today's episode on imperative and declarative programming. I hope you found this discussion helpful in understanding the distinctions between these two approaches and how they impact software development. Keep an eye out for our next episode, where we'll dive deeper into another exciting topic. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, I'm Victor, your host on continuous improvement. Happy coding. End of script.